So, Barry, how was your summer?
It was sound, you know.
It was good. What did you do?
It was all right. It was only off for 4 weeks, dear mate.
No, you're off for 5 weeks.
Did we do 5
Yeah,
weeks?
because I did the podcast with Jason, didn't I?
Wasn't really a
You were
holiday that week,
gallivanting.
though, was it?
You were gallivanting.
I wish I was gallivanting, mate. Aye.
Did you listen to the podcast with Jason?
Yeah, I listened to it.
Did you like the beginning?
Yeah, it wasn't as good as if I would have been on it. It'd have been a lot better, wouldn't it?
What, me, you, and Jason?
Me, you, and Jason.
I wouldn't.
Me and Jason probably would have.
I wouldn't have got
right.
away in edgeways. Yeah, I couldn't let you and Jason do a podcast by yourselves. All hell would break loose.
So you'd just be worried that you didn't have to come back on. That's what it'd be, mate. They'd all want to sit with me. It'd be like the Joe Rogan, but the Barry show.
Yeah. The Faulkner show.
Yeah.
All good? Ready to go? Turn my voice up a little bit. Oh, got that. Everyone watching. The whole family.
Are you ready to go? Barry built a beer in the house that I built, in the booth that I built.
I know people tune in every Sunday to listen, but even when business is good, we still manage to do the podcast.
NPK.
So, it's podcast 186. We've had our break over. It's done. It's finished. The hot weather has fucked off. And it's pretty cold now. It's getting chilly.
That wind's getting up there now.
It is. So, while we've been away, the reason we took a month off is because we've been getting Mevo fixed, because Mevo were a pile of shit and they take ages to fix everything. So that's been getting fixed. And it was just too busy to be able to do good quality podcasts. We were there at AutoPot Summer Social. We were Product Earth. What do you think of AutoPot Summer Social?
Sound, boss.
Yeah,
Loved it.
It was great. Best one yet.
Can't wait for the next one.
Best one
sound,
yet.
Yeah, just stop them from paying pool. It's doing me fucking head in now. Yo, Dada.
There's a pool table in the office.
Coatsy doesn't even listen.
People are just
Coatsy.
pool,
balls,
they're all playing
banging.
pool. Barry's got a cob on because
I'm going to flip.
He's just been spanked, and he's got the longest time on speed pool.
We'll start again now, Dada. Sound, mate.
What do you think? Now that Barry's told people off and he's got that out of his system, what do you think of AutoPot? Best yet?
It was good, yeah. Yeah, it was boss.
Enjoyed it.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I reckon it's getting better every year.
Yeah.
Product Day, to be honest with you, I didn't see that much of it, to be fair. It was only there on the Sunday, wasn't it? A bit of work on.
Did you just get off without phoning me and let me know that you were getting off?
Yeah.
Just disappeared.
Yeah. I'll let you run the show there. I thought I'll give him a chance, let him run the reins, let him see how he does. And
I was coming back to stand with the presents and I was like, where's Barry for his presents? He's gone.
Back to AutoPot. It was great anyway. You know what I mean? Yeah, it was getting better every year. Like, the music's getting better, slowly but surely.
Yeah, we're going to help with that next
year.
year.
Definitely going to have some sort of input with that music next year.
Yeah, we'll help. We'll help you, James. Don't worry. We'll get it up there. So, for those that don't like me and Barry, I don't know what you're listening for, but you're in for a treat because it is a
Who doesn't like me?
No, me and
Who
you.
said something?
I've been having a few messages recently saying, what doesn't he love
us
anymore?
If you don't like it, change their channel.
And the podcast. So we have been at Product Earth. That was the weekend after AutoPot. And we managed to do a few interviews. So today, we're going to leave you with the Bucket Company. And they are a US company based in Miami and have made an innovative new watering system that pretty much does everything. It's like bomb-proof. He had it in the office 3 weeks ago with a couple of the lads and he was jumping all over it. He's been in the industry for 20 years. And as far as systems go, it's up there. I'm excited. Like, we've needed something new and fresh in the UK. We've got our multi-flows. We've got which is a flood and drain. We've got our AutoPots. We've got Nutriculture systems. I think it was just nice. It's not going to be nice.
It's nice to see
fresh.
A new system and not systems like being a bit stagnant lately and no one's brought. And when people have brought new ones out, they've been absolutely shit.
Or really, really expensive.
Do you know what I mean? So it's nice to see someone bring something to market that's price-wise, it's good and it's robust. It's a good, sturdy product.
Do a lot of things with it as well. He's really
and it
thought
works.
About his system.
Yeah.
So before we get into that, Barry, we have to give thanks to our
Thank you, Barry.
partners above.
Is that what you mean?
No.
What?
Thank you for coming back.
Oh, I thought
I thought I might have to drag you back, cricking and screaming.
No, mate, I was here before you.
Yeah, you loved it, really.
I've got to be quick, going out for something sweet.
You're more than welcome to, Barry. Yeah, I am publicly inviting you for something to eat.
Oh, no.
I'm going to slap coach you across the face. We weren't meant to fucking tell Barry we were all going out for something to eat.
You've let it slip. And now I'm giving him shit.
For anyone that thinks that I'm telling the truth, no, it wasn't. Barry's more than welcome. It's just the food bill doubles when Barry comes out. He gets on the desserts and it's heavy tackle. So who are we giving thanks to?
SANlight, first of all.
SANlight LEDs. They've done really well over the summer.
Done boss.
Helped
to be honest,
growers out.
They are a major company and they are changing the way we light our rooms up.
Yeah, 100%. And a lot of people done very well over the summer because of SANlight LEDs. Then we have can, fan and filters. Erwin.
I have to say that. He's my main man.
He's also been helping you out over the summer because they're gorgeous extraction fans, the Ice Maxes, the Q Max.
I want one, you know. I'm waiting for Can to send me it. Erwin's going to send me it. It comes second, but you can't just have a first prize, can you? You've got to have a runner-up prize.
Yeah.
So,
and third prize.
If you won, the person who won got to pick what size EC fan they wanted and filter, so they could have a 12-inch, and I think they'll have picked the 12-inch. And I just said to Erwin, well, whatever the fella picks, whatever the fella picks, well, I'll just have the one underneath it, and that's like second best then, isn't it? You know what I mean? So I'm just waiting for it to get delivered to Erwin. I don't know whether he's forgot the address.
He rang yesterday. He might be looking to arrange
that's
it.
what it must be then.
Next up, AutoPot. We've just come back from their summer social. They're on a bit of a high. Everyone's on a bit of a high after
Big
that
thanks
summer
to them.
social. And they will have some instructional videos coming soon. 15 instructional videos telling you exactly how to use AutoPot. So keep your eyes open for that. Yeah. Barry, who's next?
We'll go for CANNA. Let's go for CANNA.
CANNA.
Because they done well, didn't they? They got everyone pissed through AutoPot.
Oh, yeah.
As well as HydroExpo.
CANNA and HydroExpo.
Yeah.
CANNA distributed by HydroExpo. HydroExpo distribute CANNA. Yeah. The two powerhouses working together to deliver the gin bar. Yeah. Let the fun.
The best wholesaler with the best
nutrients.
Yeah. Works
good
well.
combo.
It's like a marriage. They were doing the backstroke and all that.
Made in heaven.
Yeah.
And last, but by certainly no means least, Revolution Microelectronics with their Revolution Diva 1000 water, their Vici LED, soon to land in the UK, and their phenomenal ceramic metal halide fixture.
Yeah.
So they're the partners of the show. Without them, it couldn't happen. If you don't know them, now you do. And if you didn't know them, get to know them. There you go. Yeah, right? This is me and Barry handing over to Stephen and the Bucket Company at Product Earth.
Yeah, man.
Let's hear it.
Take it away, Steve.
Hi, my name is Frank. I'm actually from Miami, United States, and I'm actually the manufacturer and the inventor of the Bucket Company. Definitely. Oh, now you're invited whenever you want to catch some rays. Yo, my house is your house. I hope so. Yes. 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 I leave on Monday. Monday. Okay. Appreciate it. Okay. Yes, sir. Yes, Steve. Well, we'll start it off by breaking it down. 20 years of growing experience. We ran into so many issues, and the planter, as it is, and as the form that it was just to carry liquids, and that's where the round shape is. So, but it's not the best because the drain holes, as the pot gets bigger, gets further and further away from the roots and from the middle of the mass of the medium. So we said, you know what, it's time to reinvent the wheel. These flower pots were made for a transition period. We're only made to grow for a certain amount of time and then actually plant them in the ground. So we said, you know what, after so many times at the hardware stores and going up and down and looking for different things and trying to invent different items and having experiences in hydroponics and feed to drain and all the other systems, we said, you switch from one to the other because you want to kind of like experiment, as you grow. But at the end of the day, we said, you know what? Yeah, we got tired of every time you go to the store and, they sell you this, they sell you that. So we said, we could do something and we can make something as universal that you could probably grow just about any kind of systems or any kind of way of growing in our bucket system. So DWCs, you could do flood and drains, you could do hydroponics, you could do aeroponics. You could do just about everything and all with the same bucket without having to switch over to something. And, and we always try to keep the cost values down because we understand that a lot of the people don't and can't afford, these high item things, but they also want to get involved in the growing movement. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, actually, we got a friend over here that I'm going to modestly say that he's like about 140 kilos from New York that did the sample testing for us in front of the guys at the shop. So, at least we know that it could withstand that weight. But, what we do is that we try to make something that is going to last you a lifetime. First of all, it's 3 millimeters thick. It has contours around the edges where it's all rounded, and the plastic is basically virgin polypropylene. And what we do is that we're the first inventors of the antimicrobial planter, and that's basically for algae and molds and gray molds never to be able to get on the surface of the plastic. So what we do is that on an injection point of the view, we have a UV that's 5 to 10 year rated, and the white colorant that we use in the buckets, it's FDA approved. And then we also use antimicrobial silver ions that's actually mixed with a zeolite matrix that releases it slowly into the plastic. And as the plastic erodes eventually over time, it always releases a new cape to the fine lining of the bucket. Yes. Yep. And yes, it's all in one. It carries all in one box. We actually add So, how we came up with it, and it just the evolution of it, we always knew that we needed a drain on the bucket. So like the Dutch buckets from prior years, we needed to find a way how we could put a drain to it so we could recapture any of the discharge that could come out of the bucket. Not only so if you want to use a hydroponic system and you want to recirculate it, but at the same time, you don't pollute and you don't contaminate your drinking waters. Most people are throwing these fertilizers and these high contents, nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassiums into your drinking ground. And they're not understanding that what you're doing is basically you're killing your ground. You won't be able to grow. You won't. So, capturing the waste and or treating it, you could run it through UV lights to kill any of the bacteria and replenish it and bring it back up to whatever levels that you were using. And or, so there's many ways to do the system. Now, if you want to do a DWC, all you need to do is basically take off the insertable PVC legs that they have. The bucket will basically go to ground level, and it'll still be like about an inch or so above ground. And the good part about that is there's two things, especially here in the UK, what I've noticed that you guys have probably looked like you have 4 seasons in every 15 minutes. And it's mighty, yeah, if you're lucky, maybe in 5 minutes. But I see it that even in summertime, it's pretty cold up here. And by Liverpool, and when I went to go visit everybody up there, and you guys were so grateful for letting me, just kick it with you guys and, open up some conversations about this subject. But, when you have a bucket that's actually raised above the ground, all of a sudden now your medium, it's a lot warmer. It's not in contact with the cold floors, the cold slabs, all the roots. So, it started off with just one thing, and then it added up to another. And then, we work with a submarine designer for the U.S. Navy down in Florida. Obviously, yeah, he understands all the water, drafting, and everything else. And the antimicrobial, we actually worked with a stem cell research doctor named Kevin from the University of Miami that helped us move that along as well. Yeah, and we actually have two I think it's Microchem and Biosen Labs that have their reports on our website, www.thebucketcompany.com. And you could actually read what it does and what it says. And they actually got some samples. I think it was some kind of I don't know if it was one of the grades or one of the type of molds that they got from the FDAs that you have to have those cultures sent to you by the FDA. It's not something that you could just do it on your own. And over a 3-week period, they did a photo shot, and they basically impregnated one sample with the samples that they sent from the FDAs, and then they put it on our buckets. And over time, you see the growth of the mold on their control sample just start taking over. After week 1, you see spots all over their sample. Week 2, it starts taking over. By week 3, it's taken over the sample completely. And as they show our pictures of our buckets and our plastic, there's not a speck or a dot on the plastic itself, even being white, where most people would ran away from white because of the light and because of what it did and how it introduced algae and other products. No. And especially now after you use a medium afterwards, after that, it basically blocks all the light. But the 3 mil was something that we thought that, we seen how, other containers would break. We love to show, and we take a lot of pride in what we do, and not just make one, but actually make one that it's actually kind of innovating in the way that it looks. It has air channels, it has manifolds, it has, something that you could just plug and play, everything in one box. All you need is a pair of scissors, and everything else comes together. Yeah. www.thebucketcompany.com. And it's actually on our Instagram at the Bucket Company. Our Instagram shows the versatility of how many different users end up using the system, and how the wide variety. And even some of our users have taught me certain things, because we created these branch spreader arms that basically, for the 10-gallon, we can't stop people from using bamboo, because bamboo is very affordable, and we understand that. But, the first thing you look at bamboo, you always see a powdery mildew on the bamboo when it comes from overseas. And it comes in a plastic bag and in a hot container. So immediately, once you arrive, you already have some kind of pythium or some kind of other molds on top of them. So the first things growers do is that they just stick it right into the root medium, right into the brain of the plant. So we said that, we can't stop you from using bamboo. So we basically made some brackets that actually attach to the edge of the bucket. It is kind of like almost like a Lego system and a modular system where you could control and do as you please. And those bracket arms basically hold the bamboos outside the bucket. So that way you're not contaminating your medium, and you're giving your roots and your plant the best possible, opportunity to. Yeah. At all. And I actually seen one of our users actually invert them, and instead of using them outward, he inverted them inward towards the middle of the pot of the plant, and basically did plant training, and basically put it on top of the plant so the plant wouldn't grow vertical and it started to grow horizontal. So, there's so many guys that I see that, that just bring me new life after you invented something. You think you cover just about everything, and then you see new things, and that kind of gets you, wilded up and motivated about, the industry and which way it's going, and how, the innovations that are coming about. And I've been a cocoa user for 20 years, and I knew the goods and the bads about it. And even though as good as cocoa is and aerated that it is, you could always help it. And even on the cocoa bags, it always says, you should put a little layer of pebbles or hydrostone rocks on the bottom of the cocoa so it could drain a little bit better. So we were like, well, we understand that the rocks, and what we used to call the lava rocks, so we always remember working with them, and we always knew that the pH would just shoot it up every hour on the hour, and it was a very, very hard medium to use, because it took so much attention. So when we seen that on some of the cocoa bags that says that to use it, we kind of like, wait a second, that didn't make a lot of sense to us. So when we did the mold of the bucket, we actually incorporated like 1-inch balls at the bottom of the floor. So when the insert goes into it, basically hangs on top of the balls, and basically the insert basically hangs in between the balls and lets all the moisture get out and drain as fast as possible. So you could avoid the root rots, and the roots grow right through the inserts, and it's fabulous. It looks wonderful. Yes. Yes, and we try to, how many times that we go to the hardware store and try to buy this and try to buy that, and it's just a big, and especially here in Europe and in other parts where, sizes of trucks, and you can't just go to the hardware store and pick up PVC pipes and go cut them in your apartment. So we said, this we'll put everything inside the box, and we'll make them as big as we can. And if you want smaller, if you want to lower your bucket, all you need to do is cut the PVC and put it at the height that you want it to. But we always give you more, because if we give you less, you can't do none about that. Yeah, a little bit over 30. Oh man, easy peasy. That's our motto. Easy peasy. Everybody likes our motto, and we definitely throw out, we grow trees, and and when you see it, it's fun because you get to you explore, and you're not chasing water on the floor. You're not chasing bad plants or unhealthy plants. You're not, it just becomes a system now that you could kind of enjoy and actually, with the things in the markets opening up, you take a passion to it. And, I'm a strong believer. We even have some of our guys on Instagram that used to have a lot of attacks, epileptic attacks. And, in Canada, and he started, and you could scroll down our Instagram and you could see the difference of size and weight that the guy has gained. And even my mother-in-law was very, she took a lot of pain medications for surgeries on her neck or whatever. And now she's using something that the doctors are giving her down in Florida, and completely off the opioids, and now completely on something that is a lot less harmful. Yes, sir. Yeah, in Florida, Steve, it went medical probably like about a year and a half ago, and now the governor, thank God that we have a governor that's a little more responsive, and I don't know if he's doing it for the capital of it or if he's doing it because if he believes in it, but now they're making it into recreational, and they're opening up actually the laws for average people to be able to grow their own medicine. Because before they handed out the licenses to 4 companies and basically made these companies, $500 million companies just by handing it out to them, which wasn't, completely fair. But now they've opened up because people have challenged the law, and they're pushing forward, and they're not going to take it. And I think at the end of the day, they're seeing all the pluses that are coming out of it, and compared to all the negatives that were there before. Yeah. Yes. Yes. Okay. Well, I guess the most important tips is dial your room in. Okay. Don't chase stripes. Don't chase discolors. Don't chase other things and start trying to come with other concoctions to fix the problem. Make sure your day temperature is on point. Make sure your night temperature is on point. And make sure all your humidities and everything else is exactly what you want, because that is the most important part of it. And people, sometimes they get scared that, I can't walk in at night, and they just lose the reality that, plants, grow in the outside, and there's a moon and there is light somehow. So, don't worry about walking in a room, because what happens is that when they go to bed, the humidity that stays in the room, you have your light bulbs that dispense so much heat that actually absorb some of the humidity that's inside the room. And your air conditioners, once they're running, the compressors actually suck up all the humidity that's also in the room. But when the plants go into sleep, all your lights go off. So now your light bulbs can't absorb any of that humidity. And now all your ACs are off, because now you only have one air conditioner just maintaining temperature. So that means that the humidity at nighttime builds up a lot higher than the daytime. And that's basically the opposite of what you want to happen. So, you really got to focus on that. And, and you're the one that brings the water into the room. So control watering, and maybe not water as much, or maybe separate your watering times, between different groups or different rows that you might have inside the room. Yep. 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 And, yeah. 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 No. Yeah. Yeah, you should have at least, when your lights are on or whatever, your humidity should be no more than around 65%. And then at nighttime, you should have at least a 5 to 7 degree difference downward. So, so everybody has to kind of like get adjusted, and they need to read the plant, because I think that they just think that the nutrient is just like that button that they press and it does everything for them. But they need to basically keep track, because the nutrients can't get absorbed if the plant is overwhelmed with humidity and basically just folding over on herself. So, there's a lot of little things, but I think that exactly that they just overthink things, and instead of just taking everything step by step and saying, okay, let my temperatures be 77s at the highs, 72s at the lows, in the daytime, and then maybe 5 degrees a little bit colder at nighttime, and let me make sure I could dial that in. But the biggest thing that you said now about the plants and when they're flowering is that the grower does not know how much of a problem he's really running into. If you cannot control your humidity at the early stages of the plant's life cycle, you are definitely going to lose control of your room, because your plant now is going to get 10 times bigger than what it was. Your fruits are going to get and hold more moisture than what your medium will hold. So those are just variables that you probably didn't count on as the process of the growing session was going on. So, just as you said, you really got to focus on and pinpoint. And like I said, you're the one that brings the water into the room. So don't blame the room. Don't blame the plant. It's you. And if you put a little bit more work in, you won't have those issues. Sometimes if you can't control your humidity, and even if you buy the best dehumidifier in the world, you still don't want to go in there with 300 liters, 500 liters of water and just start pouring everywhere, because it's not fair. The dehumidifier is not going to work that fast. It might take 4 hours. It might not ever eliminate all the humidity, but at the same time, for those certain amount of hours, the plants are just basically baking inside that heat. Yep. 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 Exactly. And the application of it, Steve, it's funny that the whole approach that we took on this was exactly that, because I used to crawl through the floors on my hands and knees, pulling water hoses around, big pots with drain pans and everything. And then, first of all, the discharge is money. So, in a regular plastic pot, you would basically take at least 10 to 15 minutes to see finally all the discharge. So by the time you realize how much is inside your drain pan, you realize how much money you have there that you just threw away. Okay, and not just that, but and then what do you do with the water in the drain pan? This concept about a planter and a drain pan was for outdoors. Now people are using them indoor. Now, not only are you feeding the water, but and then you also have now the water just sitting in the drain pan, creating algae and all kinds of other, pests and diseases while it's just sitting water. or the person has to go with a wet vac and basically eliminate all the water. So the whole concept about how we went ahead and tried to design something was exactly for that, because we know that you have to feed your plants. And we know that when you stick that many plants in a certain room with the size of mediums that you put in there, it's almost impossible for the room to just run without a dehumidifier. So we went back and said, okay, well, we can't control all the variables, but we can control some of the ones that we've seen was a problem. The drain pan was a problem. The pot that just leaked onto a drain pan was a problem. The holes, as the pots get bigger, as your 30, 20, 40, 20 gallon, 40 gallons get bigger and bigger, the holes of the pots get further away from the middle of the mass of the plant. So that, and it tells you that, water travels vertical, it doesn't travel very good horizontal. So for it to work its way out those holes, it's almost an impossible task. So you got like a big soup right in the middle of your medium because the water just can't work its way out. We even did a test, and we even did it with fabric pots or felt pots. And we went overseas, and we looked at them to put them as inserts in our pots, in our buckets, and we seen them we weighed them when they were dry, and then we wet them, and then I let them overnight to just drain out in the bathtub, and then I weighed them again, and you would see an increase about a half a pound to almost a pound, depending on the felt, and that's one thing. So if you have 50 pots in your room, now you have 50 gallons of water just sitting on the felt of the pot itself. And the felt also blocks all your fertilizer salts from clearing the felt. And they also get trapped all inside the fabric of the felts. So, that's where we came out with the fiberglass polypropylene insert with big holes. So basically it dries the medium instantly. And we came across and we wanted to create like a hybrid system to a cocoa feeding system. After working with cocoa for so long, we said, wow, hydroponic really brought out the beauty of the plant. And cocoa really brought out the stability of the plant, that, just easier for everybody. But we figured out that if we could get the cocoa to dry up a little bit faster and feed it just a little bit more, and we could kind of get a hybrid between what hydroponics was and cocoa and get something that might be as stable but nicer looking at the end of the day. No, I'm truly grateful for being in the UK. I was kind of a little surprised that they let me in, but I'll be there. I'll be there. Yes. I actually got some facilities out there in some Indian reservations that are using 200 to 300 10 gallons in Nevada. So, and in Detroit, we have another one using 1,500. And we do the engineering. We love it. And actually now on our website, we're actually going to launch a little, it's called the designer room. And basically it's going to be an app that you're just going to go in our website and you're going to put your numbers of the size of your room. And you're going to have avatars of buckets and tables and different lights, either LEDs or regular size lights. And you're going to be able to drag them, put them into your room, design your room. You're going to be able to see the measurement in between the hallways that you give yourself and between the walls and all the spacing that you want. And then afterwards, you'll be able to print it. So you could always have a little copy of something that you have in mind of what you want to do or how you want the layout. Yeah, because they ask us all the time to do it for them. So, some people want their pots a little closer. Some of them want a little further. So, we said, you know what? I thought of the idea. I seen something similar to it. So I said, nothing would be cooler than to have, the guys go on there or the girls to go out and, design their own room. If they have, a room that's a L shape or square or whatever it might be. But, we truly, we always trying to think of what the end user and trying to be as fair because we come from there. That's, no white collars here. Actually, I'm off now to Spain with my distributor, Hortotech, Nacho. Shout out to him. I'm going to do the groundwork, and I could see that, the UK was a big learning experience. The UK has a lot of, CANNA and cocoa, and the sales are just going out the roof, and it basically almost sells itself. So I think in the UK, we need to put a little more emphasis in training and coming and trying to, help people and try to teach them the certain ways, because only the people that create things are the ones that could actually train or help them understand it the best way possible. So we're going now to Spain, doing our little tour there, and then we have a distributor in South Africa. We have a distributor at Rambridge in Canada, Holland Forge in Australia and New Zealand, and we just keep growing, literally. Thank you. Definitely. And I'll have George send that over to you ASAP. Okay? Hey, Steve. Thank you, boss. Thank you. It was a pleasure. Peace.
That was a real OG from Miami.
Yeah.
It was great to have him on the podcast. Thank you very much for spending some time with me at Product Earth. And if you don't know them, check them out at The Bucket Company on Instagram. Got a lot of followers. 30,000, 40,000 followers.
Have they?
So they're doing something right in California.
Are they major over there? Yeah.
I think they're pretty major. You can see on their Instagram all the installations that they've got in there. So go check them out. They're really good people and really enjoyed that podcast. So that's it for Sunday. Thank you for listening, or whatever day you listen to. We'll be back next week. And again, me and Barry are going to take it easy. It's podcast 187. And it's with me and Barry doing the intro. And it'll be with the British Hemp Alliance. Very interesting podcast. Bit of a short one next week, but it's a taster for what's to come. She'll be back talking about how hemp helps the world with food, building, all kinds. It's great. Man. Have a good rest of the day, and me and Barry will see you next week. Same time, same place.
Yeah, man.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.